Hi, you're watching a replay of PCD group therapy session number 5. I'm just going to let in my co-host and wait for some people to join, and then we will get started, so just bear with us. Hi, Christina. Hi, Sarah. Woohoo! People. Keeners. All right, there's Ashley. Ashley, where am I letting you in from? Are you coming in from Ashley or from Gacky Girls? Can you hear me? Forgot to ask. Hi, can you guys hear me okay? Somebody let me know. Can you hear me? Oh, thanks, Sarah. It was wind blown, so it's gonna fall. Hi, Margaret. Can somebody tell me, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Hi, Megs. All right. Good. Thank you, Marina. Okay, Megs. Moderator, and okay, perfect. I think that Ashley is changing accounts. There we go. Okay. Ashley should be joining us shortly. Hi, Sherry. You came here quickly from your live over on TikTok.
Hello.
Oh boy.
In my Christmas jammies.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Very,
this might
very
be
festive.
probably a shocker, but I've got several.
You know what? I don't think I have any Christmas jammies. Instead, I'm wearing another New Kids top. Hi, Lexi.
Oh, I have
All
the
right.
Christmas New Kids top.
Sorry?
Dang. I have the Christmas New Kids zip up from like 5 years ago.
Well,
I'll wear it
there's always
next
next week. There's
Yes.
always next week. Okay.
You keep saying hi to people. I'm going to fix my lighting.
Ooh, yeah, I got a new light. I got a new ring light. How's it looking? The onesie. Hi, Nikki is here. Nikki, I'm going to be bringing you up shortly.
Okay, I'm on my spare bed.
As usual, in the chat, please let us know who you are and where you're from, so we can, so you guys can get chatting away. In the meantime, in case we haven't met, my name's Melanie, and I'm in Toronto. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Ashley. I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Woohoo!
I have
Okay,
props
we've got.
too.
You have props?
I have our 2 books came in today.
Ooh, okay.
So
I forgot who they're going to. They're going to Julie and
Kaylin.
Kaylin?
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. And we were talking about maybe doing a book club.
Yeah, if you're in the comments, you'd be into doing a book club on this book. I'm fangirling Snarky Stories and Boy Band Memories. Maybe in the new year. Probably not before that.
Right.
But it's a good book, and we're sending it to 2 blockheads who joined us or did our challenge last week. And then we did a little announcement on Saturday. So if you guys follow both of us, we're doing kind of some quick lives here and there. But we did a giveaway, and so maybe we'll do some more if people really like it.
Love it. Love it. And maybe we can even have the author join us in our book club chat. Yeah.
Oh, I bet she'd be in. I'll speak for her. Kara will do it. I'll make her.
Well, she joined us on the Clock app when we had our chat on the Clock app. Is also TikTok, in case you don't know. On the Clock app. Okay, so I'm going to let in our first guest. Let me grab her. I just have to double check her handle. Whoops. Oh, I know she's in the chat.
Joining. It's so fun to like have 40 to 70 people here every time and like chatting with us on a Wednesday night.
Right?
I love it.
There she is. Hi.
Hey.
Hello, Nikki.
It's the 1st of December here, so I've got to.
So, in case you can't tell from her accent,
so it's
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Nikki is joining us from the future. Can you tell us, Nikki, where you're from and how many cruises have you been on?
So I'm from Melbourne in Australia. So and I obviously this was my first cruise. So no
Wow.
expectations, but a lot of expectation. Just it was craziness.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I mean, but it was amazing. Like it went beyond my expectations completely. And
Meg's in the comments is saying Aussie, 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 and I say oi,
yeah,
oi, oi.
yeah. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I like
it was,
thank you so much, first of all, for joining us. Because it's Thursday, it's 1 p.m. where you are. You are in your office. It's the middle of your workday.
having I just took time out, and it's month end for us. So I work in a finance department, so it's month end. So this is my like day one month end. So it's a little bit crazy today. I
Okay,
didn't
okay.
think about that, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's
Well,
I would rather be here. So just know that.
perfect. Okay, so let's just get into it. So this was your very first cruise.
Yeah.
My go-to question is, what was your most legendary moment on the cruise, or one of your legendary moments?
I mean, I think it's just, like when you look at YouTube and you look at loads of videos, of cruises and everything, and you just like, oh, this would be so awesome. Just, I call it like in the wild experiences, because everything is very sort of, when you see them at a concert, it's all very, straightforward and everything. But this is like, they're out in the wild, they're doing their own thing, and, and all of that. And I was just sort of like, to have that sort of moments and actually having them up close, to you and everything, it was, I think for me is, just being able to like, go on stage with them, like, for like me and Mel, we're on stage and, here's Donnie, here's Joe. And then I'm a Jordan girl, so my apologies for anyone that's not a Jordan girl. we're a little bit insane. That's okay. So yeah, it was just like, it was, being that sort of close to him, but in a wild type of scenario rather than in a meet and greet, which you're more like in a cattle line, where it's just
Right.
like, like, okay.
And it's very structured, right? The meet and greet's very structured. Yeah. And whereas like on the Lido deck, it's a little bit more loose.
Yeah, exactly. So, so from that aspect, I'd probably say I just didn't expect to be able to get that close to them, I suppose.
Right.
And just the amount of times that we were able to get close. I mean, we sort of put ourselves positioned, with I don't know what they call that sort of B stage. I'm going to call it B stage.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah.
So we just sort of like positioned ourselves on that B stage pretty much every night, and we're able to sort of, get ourselves on stage each night and just obviously have those sort of interactions and all of that. And I think, I mean, just because I'd never been on a cruise ever in my life as well.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool.
So I think just, that whole expectation of, getting on a cruise and going, oh my God, am I going to get seasick? Am I going to get this and all of that? And I was just sort of like, as soon as we got on and it started rocking, at the sail away party, I was just like, oh, okay. I don't know.
That first night was...
That was rough.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, but I was okay with that because I think it was just that movement of coming out of the initial port, and
right.
then I felt fine. But it's hard to sort of like just sort of pick one moment.
Of course, yeah.
For me, I'm just going to say just getting up close to Jordan. So.
So you came from so far. So can you like kind of paint a picture of what like your travel looked like? Like how long was the flight, or how long was your travel between Melbourne and Miami? And like, did you come a little early? Did you stay a little late to kind of maximize your travels?
Yeah, so this was my second time coming to the US this year.
Right.
So I have to like take it back just a moment because
okay.
Melbourne, we were in the longest lockdown in the world, right? So
yeah.
Here I was all of a sudden having all of these flights in the US and, being, like different, different states and all of that. And it was just sort of like, it was such a bizarre experience of actually just getting on planes because we weren't allowed to leave Australia at all during that time.
Right.
yeah, so just actually, getting on flights was just like, okay, this is, a bit, a lot. So, but yeah, with the cruise, I came into Miami about a week before. We did,
Wow.
we did a lot of stuff in Miami, me and a friend of mine. So, shout out to Jen if she's watching. I'm not sure if she's watching. She might be. We went to an NFL match. I'd never been to an NFL match, which was good. We saw the Miami Dolphins. So yeah, that was cool. I tried to, because that was like my first morning, the first day, and I was trying to keep awake because I was sort of already in a night in a jet lag situation.
Yeah.
We went to Magic Mike. That was awesome. That was so good. I don't know if Miami turned it on but it was awesome.
That's our gift to Australia from America is Magic Mike.
But you guys have the Thunder Down Under. Is that?
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it. Okay, did you go to Versace Mansion? Because I'm convinced everybody on the boat went to the Versace Mansion before the cruise. Did you go?
Oh, yeah. Well, we were like around the corner from there. So, obviously it's in Ocean Drive. So we walked up and down Ocean Drive like several times during that week. So, and I couldn't believe the Versace mansion was just right there in that street.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I just we walked past and then I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Is this like the Versace mansion?
Yeah. Well, it's a restaurant.
Yeah. So that was.
But you didn't go into the restaurant, did you?
No, we didn't go in. We were having a bit of a think about it, but yeah, we didn't go in.
Okay. So you mentioned that the cruise was the second time you went to the States this year. The first time you went was for the tour, right? And this was your first time seeing the New Kids in concert, your first time meeting them. Wow. Tell us about that whole escapade. Like, how long were you in the States for? How many shows did you go to? Like, how did you get from point A to point B? Unpack.
Yeah, so when we booked the tickets, so I'll just step back a bit. When we booked the tickets, we were still in lockdown here in Melbourne. So I was just like, am I even going to be able to go?
Yeah.
But here we are, just booking tickets and all of that. So yeah, we did that. I went to 9 shows in the end. I was only going to do just all of California because a friend of ours, she drove us all around California. So we went to all the California shows. Started in San Diego, which was the first one. So picture this. It was like the first show was San Diego, and it was my first time ever seeing them live. Mm-hmm. And I apologize. I'm one of these people. Like, they came out in '92, and we were in middle of a recession, and I was young. We didn't go. So my apologies. They came out in 2012 and I was adulting with kids and all, so didn't go again. So this is my first time seeing them ever live. And we basically get to San Diego and we thought, oh yeah, we're adding a meet and greet. So I was seeing them live. Meet and greet.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, was your first show also your meet and greet?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's intense.
That's stupidity on my part. Let's just say that.
But you know what? You got it out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, we did. I did 4 meet and greets in the whole thing. But yeah, that was like my first one. But the funny thing is, when we were arriving to San Diego, so we're driving up into the car park and we're going around, and we came past like the like the back of the thing, the
venue?
The venue, sorry. And we basically were like, oh, that's where the tour buses are, da-da-da. And then we were like, hold on. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but, I'll swear. I was like, hold on. Fuck, that's Jordan right there, just standing outside, the venue right there. But like on the outside of the venue, like outside, and we were driving, and we were like all screaming in the car, turn around. and I think he knew that we were going to turn around. So we turned around and like you could see him laughing. And so we were just like, okay, he already knows that, yeah, they're fans.
Right.
So, yeah, so he was just like, because we're like, come over, you know, and he was just like, oh, he goes, no, I'll just stand here. So, and then in the end, he's just like, I'll see you guys inside and everything. But to see, you know, again in the wild like that, and then to sort of go into the venue, and we were in the party pit.
Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
to see them live sing, and in San Diego, I don't know if you guys ever went to San Diego, but it was only about 5 or 6 rows between the party pit and front row. Like it was a really small venue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was just like front row was just like right here. And yeah, so we were in party pit. And when they came out, obviously onto that B stage, it was just like, okay, this is real.
Yeah.
Here they are right here in front of me, sort of thing. So yeah, it was, and like I told the guys so many times in each meet and greet, just how awesome they sound live, how much of a good show that they put on. Like I was just blown away, like how good live they are. I know everyone says it, but until you actually, you know, see it for yourself.
Experience it. Yeah. So you did 9 shows. Can you list them all?
San Diego, LA, Fresno, Anaheim,
Yep.
San Jose. I'm going by memory.
I think that was 5.
You know, Vegas, Salt
Wow.
Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
and Idaho.
Oh, very nice.
Kinda.
And that was
So,
in the span of what, like 2 weeks or something?
so I was there from, I think it was nearly just under 3 weeks.
Just under 3 weeks.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, like I mean,
That's
like it was all
intense.
like drove around, you know, pretty much everywhere, and it was great. Like on my, I've got another Instagram account, but on my personal account, there's just all of these driving videos. Like
Yeah.
I you know, just I love doing tourist things while you're out, you know, seeing everything.
But you have to find that energy to do all that too, because between driving and the shows themselves, it's exhausting. But
yeah, we were tired.
yeah.
Like, a few of us got COVID, and I only just had COVID just before I came, so
Okay.
like that's okay. You can touch me, you can come near me. I don't think I can get it again, and I didn't, which was good.
Yeah, I got COVID right like in April, so shortly before the tour. So I was like, I'm good for the next few months. I think it's still safe, but
And it was good to get into the US as well because you had to test before you could get into the US. I just had to bring a letter to say, well, I just had COVID, so all good.
Okay. So what's it like being a fan who's outside of the States, outside of Canada? Like, how hard is it to stay part of the fandom when the new kids rarely come to your part of the world?
I think that's what's the best thing about social media, right? I mean, whatever they do or, you know, or not do, within seconds, it's everywhere. So I think that's the amazing thing, you know. I mean, obviously back in the day, we'd have no idea what was going on the other side of the world.
But then you also didn't know what you were missing.
Well, yes and no. It's sort of like when you see old photos of them, I'm like, oh, I don't remember some of these photos. Like maybe we didn't get them or whatever. You used to get US magazines, you used to buy them and all that sort of thing, but that's about as much as you'd get, you know, your Bok magazine and all of that. But yeah, so I mean, I think that's the greatest thing is that, you know, we're all in this community, you know, we all actually, you know, just upload, you know, different bits and pieces, and we all feel the same, you know, with, you know, that obviously that love that we have for them. So from that aspect, it's awesome. Like, I mean, you know, the amount of people I've met online and just going, oh man, you feel the same as I do, and you know, you have that sort of, you know, same, like, or you notice little things about them and all of that you know that you noticed and they noticed, and it's just sort of like, you know, just I know it sounds like really crazy, you
No,
know,
no, no. I think all of us here can relate.
when
We're all here for the same reason, right? But it's a commonality that we all have. Ashley, did you have any? Sorry, I've been asking all the questions. Do you have anything to ask? Because I've got more.
So you kind of touched on it, Melanie, but like even the years where you said like you were, momming and you were, living your life and all that stuff, what was it about when they returned that kind of got you like back in it, like deep? Because I know a lot of us here, we may have had some little tidbits of one of them's on a reality show or one of them's on an interview. Like there were things that we could still kind of connect with. So what was it that like, after how many years you were still like, boom, I'm in?
So 2019, and I feel like a lot of people jumped back in around 2019, people that I talk to. So 2019, I don't know why, for whatever reason, I just thought, I wonder what Jordan's doing,
Thankfully, he still had social media at this point, I think, right?
I know. It's what
find out.
Yeah, so it's like started Googling and everything, and then gone, wow, okay. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, wow, he's looking good, and all this. And then all of a sudden, it's just like all of these songs and all of this, and I just went down the deepest dark hole for about, I reckon, a month, and didn't come back out again. Trying to go. Well, he went solo. And he released a solo album, they released this album. Like my
had a
head
lot of
was
catching
just
up to do, but when you throw the pandemic in there, you probably had a little bit of extra time to go down that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. So so that was around mid 2019, and like I'd never created social media pages for anyone, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was just like hooked in, I don't know, for whatever reason, and I went, okay. So end of 2019, I thought, I'm going to create a page for Jordan, and then I started up my black and white page and all this sort of thing, and then I was just so like in. And then obviously once COVID hit, it was just like, I'm so sucked in right now. So, and then, you just meet so many people online that, that we're all doing, the same sort of thing and everything. Here I still am, So, but I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, the fandom is amazing. There's great guys, girls and guys out there. I love the, we're all similar ages and all that sort of thing. And, and especially like at home, because, my kids at home just go, oh my God, like, like, what is that picture of Jordan on your phone or this or that? And you just like, cut me a break. And they think I'm a loser. Like, they're teenagers. They just think, she's crazy. She's already gone, And obviously when I went to the US, they were just like, are you serious? And then when I said I was going to cruise, there was just even more so, she has lost it.
So at what point did you decide to go on the cruise? Was like, did you book it when it went on sale, or like after you went on the tour you were like, oh my God, I gotta see what's next?
I was doing the tour. I was just like, and I turned 50 this year, so my thing was,
happy belated birthday.
And I was just sort of like, I'm gonna do the tour. That's gonna be my 50th thing. I'm gonna go all out, all of that sort of crazy stuff. And then around February, when all the booking was happening and all of that, and my friend that I went on the cruise with, she was just sort of like, oh, I'm gonna go. Maybe I'm not gonna go. And then she texted me, and then I opened up. She messaged me and sort of said, okay, I've booked it, and I know you said no. But I already paid your deposit. You've got to go now. It just looked like.
So she's your enabler, basically.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, is this friend of yours? Is she in Australia as well, or?
No. She's in California.
She's in California. Oh, okay. I see. So. Okay.
Remember there's a lot of stuff happening on the cruise, but she actually dressed up as Jordan, and she got up on stage, and on the second night, she actually I was able to hug him. She had the whole rat's tail thing. She had the overalls on. It was such
so that was the night that you and I were standing next to each other.
Okay,
right?
was, yeah. So she was up on stage right then. So
because Nikki and I, we were both dressed as Madonna, like really like the same era Madonna as well too.
yeah,
Like we both had like almost identical outfits and we were right next to each other.
yeah.
So that's where we first met.
I know, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So what would be
There were 3 Madonnas on stage with you guys. Like it was
uh
you two
Well,
and
I
my
only remember
Madonna.
no offense, no, we remember them all, but that was just on one stage alone there was like a solid 3, possibly 4, just in one like section.
So funny.
There was a lot. So actually, speaking of theme nights, what would be your dream theme night for the next cruise or an upcoming cruise?
I really would like them to do the pajama night thing again, just so we can go. I've seen it back in, I don't know, 2015 or whatever. You know, they looked really nice in those silk pajamas. I mean, that was a good look.
So it's more so you can see them in pajamas than for you to wear pajamas. Is that it?
I want to be comfortable at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
For comfy.
And that or like a onesie sort of thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to be too hot because on the night I wore koala ears. I was going to dress in like a koala onesie, and then I was just like, oh no, it's going to be so bloody hot on that boat.
Yep.
So yeah, I ended up just doing like a koala headband type.
And that's enough. Like people understand where you're from if you're wearing koala ears, I think.
T-shirt as well that said, "This is my human costume. I'm really a koala." So I tried to cover it. Yeah.
I think by the time to GPS night, we're all kind of exhausted and just like, you know what? If I make it to Miami, forget whatever I have got going on. I just have to make it. I have to make it.
It's about comfort, isn't it? I mean, when you're standing around and standing up for those amount of hours that you're standing up, I'm just like, right, I'm wearing whatever I want on my feet. I need to be, and I love it because everyone used to give all the tips of, you know, what you should do on the boat or what you should wear on the boat. And, you know, so I was like just sapping up all of those different tips because
taking lots of notes.
You know, yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Now, is it Lido or is it Lido?
Definitely Lido.
No, I figured you'd say that. I figured you'd say that.
Well, no. If you, I mean, I lived in London for 9 years, but take that away from it. Yeah. But if you think of like the singer Dido, do you remember the singer back? Yeah, it's Lido, right? So you know.
Okay.
It's Lido.
As a response, I think that makes sense. You've made a good correlation between the pronunciation and why it would be that. So I think that I just
take it on board. Yeah.
Well, that's it for my questions. Ashley, did you have any more?
I think the only one that I had was, do you know Chris Hemsworth?
He grew up like about half an hour from where I lived. That's about as much. His whole family, but yeah.
That's close enough for me to be like, wow, I just met someone who
not where he grew up.
Sometime.
Yeah, but not. I haven't physically seen him in the wild, so to speak.
Well, maybe there's a Chris Hemsworth cruise coming up that you can get on, so you can see him in the wild.
If I see him, I will send him your way, though.
Thank you.
Not my way, her way. Her way.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
With the dark hair, dark eyes, guys. Send me those.
Well, Nikki, thank you so much for joining us today, especially in the middle of your workday. You're probably so excited to get back to your meetings and your, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Time with us.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been fun.
Yeah. Well, again, like you and I, we were next to each other for a solid few hours on the boat and didn't really get a chance to talk. You got a cute little gif of us though, which I was excited about. But I'm happy to get to know you a little bit more. And thank you for making time in your day for us.
Yes.
No. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. You have a good day. We'll have a good night. See you. Bye, Nikki. Okay, let's see. I think I know how to remove people. Ooh, there we go.
That was so cute.
And pardon me?
She's so cute.
Yeah. And like the headband was a nice touch. All right, so I'm going to bring in our next, oh my gosh, our next guest. There they are. Let's see. Hey, Marcelo.
What's up? What's going on?
Hi, everyone. Please say hello to Marcelo. Do you want to tell us where you're joining us from and how many New Kids cruises have you been on?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I have been on one cruise.
One cruise?
Wow.
What?
Yeah, that last one was my one and only.
Really? I thought I remember you from other cruises.
No, I mean, honestly, everyone's surprised that I haven't been on more, but I think in the past, Babs has sort of been the go-to guy for the cruise.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I think most of the time I was already on tour with other groups, so it just didn't work out. And I think the only time that I was actually available was in 2020, and we know what happened. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody doesn't know Marcelo, there's probably like very few, most people do, but just in case you don't, he has served as he's been the New Kids photographer on previous tours and VIP experiences. But on this cruise, you were there in a different capacity. Can you tell us about your new role?
Yeah, so essentially I stopped touring last year, or this year, I should say, and I got hired by faculty. And so I was
You want to tell
essentially,
people what faculty is in case they don't know?
so anyone who does not know, faculty, faculty management manages New Kids on the Block, and they also, help produce other events like Dancing with the Stars, and we have other clients like Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that is basically what faculty management is. And so for this tour, I was in charge of all of like the screen content. I didn't personally create it, but I was like the project manager working with like the creatives to make sure that everything was okay, that the guy signed off on it. And then, that's basically what I did. And I also helped like my other colleagues help out with the Olympics. And so, essentially we helped produce like everything, all the signage, all the logos, all the like animations and stuff. That's basically what we did. Yeah.
Okay, so, sorry, and that was on the cruise and the tour, or just the cruise?
So the cruise, but
Okay.
on the tour, I had just gotten hired as things got kicking on the mixtape tour. So I was just basically there as moral support and making sure that Paris, who we all know, sort of started on the right foot. And that's basically it.
And just in case people don't know who Paris is, Paris was the photographer during the mixtape 2022 tour.
Yeah.
So when did your work for the cruise start? Like June or February?
No, I mean, so there's a lot of stuff leading up, right? Like first we got to make sure that we advertise. And so there was a lot of back and forth with Rose Tours on that. And then finally, I think a good month and a half, 2 months, we really started brainstorming on like, what activities we wanted to do. And then, it's like a decisions made by committee. So essentially, nothing gets solved in, after one meeting. It's a lot of back and forth. And, because we had a few other tours out that we were like, producing and helping out with, a lot of this stuff, like they were like meetings maybe twice a week, and then it sort of dragged on. But if this was like our only responsibility, I think we would have finished it a lot earlier. But you're also working with other people, so you're working with their timelines, their workloads, and so it took us a good solid 2 months to like really dial it in. And obviously at the end of the day, the guys have to sign off,
Mhm.
and so you add that element to that as well. So it takes a while, but when it happens, it's sort of great to see like the vision come through. Because I hate to say it and I hate to admit it, but I'm not necessarily a naysayer by any means, but I'm a visual person. So
Okay.
so seeing it all come, I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. And this is what it is. And it was like a good experience, sort of like from maybe a sketch or just a conversation to actually seeing it like a tangible thing. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
There are a lot of people in the chat congratulating you on your new job, by the way.
Thanks. Actually, I mean, as much as I love touring and being around, and like, as I'm sure anyone who follows me on Instagram knows, that I love playing tennis.
Oh, yes, that's true.
I love playing tennis. So, I mean, I have friends who wake up as early as I do. And so we'll go to play tennis at like 7 in the morning and play for a good hour and a half. And then sometimes I'll play at night. So, working with, New Kids Management and working with Jared, Paul, like kind of get the best of both worlds. Because, got to go to the Bahamas and, still, still be able to travel, but not like leave my house for like 3 months on end. So that was good.
That's
Right, right.
amazing.
And have time for tennis. Yeah. Ashley, did
Yeah.
you have any questions?
No, I love the tennis part though. I played tennis in college, so like I think that's fun.
Oh,
Watching your social media is like, it's not just the cool things you're doing, it's like also like the life stuff, which is like, oh, I get it. Yeah, I don't get up
yeah.
at 7 to go play tennis, so sorry. Um, no, I mean, some of the things that we talked about with this is we have our legendary moments. Was there anything on this cruise, your first cruise, that you kind of would stick out as your moment where you were like, wow, this is legendary?
So, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, so pretty much every night I felt like I needed to conserve my energy. So I would dip out maybe like 2 or 3 in the morning. But so this is not so much something that I experienced directly. It was more watching
Yeah.
on the last day,
Mhm.
watching all you guys like not stumble, but like gingerly walk back to your rooms while I was getting off the boat. I mean, think about it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
everyone told me like, oh, this is a straight party, and I'm like, okay, last day, I'm like, I got to wake up early to catch my flight. I was
Right.
itching to get back home, so I dipped out around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then like we were leaving at 7 a.m. and I saw a few blockheads going back, and I think, Melanie, I saw
Yeah.
your Instagram
Yeah.
story where you're like sleeping. You were sleeping on your bed, like in a very awkward position.
Yeah.
But just seeing like that, the guys and you guys, like it's probably like a symbiotic relationship where
Mhm.
I'm sure they're tired, you guys have energy, and you guys kind of feed off each
Feed off of
other.
it.
And you
Yeah.
guys, yeah. So seeing everyone stumble back to their cabins at 7 a.m.
Did you
is
take
probably
pictures?
my highlight.
Did you
Of
take
that,
pictures of?
no, no,
No.
no, no, no. I think that's a very sensitive and
Right.
We
period.
all,
I would,
Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure we all looked real scary, because I remember getting back to my room and then looking out the window and seeing like the port, like we were coming into port, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm not getting any sleep. So I'm sure
Yeah,
I did
once
not.
you get back to your room and you start doing the math and you're like, okay, so my flight's at this time. I have to be here at this point. I have to leave. And you're just like, shit, I don't have any time to sleep. So that picture that I had posted, I was like really asleep for like 5 minutes. That was about it. It was just a power nap, if
Just
anything.
now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, honestly, I didn't really like really understand or believe anyone like, oh, we go all night. And I was like, sure, but really you guys do go all night. It's
And you
crazy.
you got to see it to believe it, right?
You really do. Yeah.
So what would like a typical day look like for you on the boat? Although maybe there was no typical day, but like what would a day look like for you as someone who's working?
So actually, so I was just talking to my colleagues about it yesterday, because Jared warned us. He's like, as soon as you get onto the boat, like we have to go make sure that like the first night was a game show night,
Right.
right? So as we, sorry, my light source, I have like 3 computers going on right now.
Okay.
So I got to make sure I'm properly lit here.
Yeah,
There
it
we
got
go.
dim there for a second.
Anyway, so as soon as we got in the boat, he warned us. He's like, hey, as soon as we go, you got to leave, put your bags, and then we got to make sure that they're building the stage, and then we got to make sure that we go into the theater to test all the videos and screen content that we created. And so literally as soon as we got on, we dropped our bags off, we met somewhere, we took like a lap, we went down to the theater and just made sure that everything we had ordered, all the props, like the whiteboard, the signage, like all the decals on the ground, that they were up. And then as soon as like that was done, obviously we had a bit of a break. And
Sorry.
then,
As this was happening, were the fans already boarding, or did you get on a little bit earlier?
yeah, I think we got on. We cut the line. I know.
Oh, it's okay. We'll
Sorry,
let it
guys.
slide.
I think I may have seen. Did I see you? I don't know if I saw any of you as we boarded. I definitely saw Bunny. But anyway, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is like we got on early because the guys get on early, and then they relax while we start, putting things, together. And
Sorry,
then,
somebody just asked, is that AJ from the Backstreet Boys? No, that's not AJ from the
no.
Backstreet Boys.
You know what? It's so funny because I think the first time I started touring with the guys, they thought, not a few people would say, oh, you kind of look like AJ. And I think as the tour progressed and as the years passed, I went from looking like AJ a little bit to Sal from that one prank show. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
I
the
never would have thought that if you hadn't said it.
Yeah, someone said
Who?
it.
I have to look this person up. I don't know what you're talking about.
His name is Sal from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Your voice is a little bit like AJ though, like a little raspy, like, you got a little the accent. I don't know. It's a little bit. It's funny
you
though.
know what it is
This guy?
yes, but he's
not some of those pictures. Some of those pictures were really bad.
yeah. But to be fair, I think
This guy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I guess there's a proper way of talking, and I just speak straight from my throat instead of my diaphragm.
Oh, yes.
And so the more I talk throughout the day, the less the more raspy my voice sounds. And so you can tell at the end of the day if I've been speaking a lot because I sound raspy.
Well, I appreciate you're still joining us at the end of your workday.
To be fair, I was pretty much stuck in a coffee shop in Highland Park, California, Highland Park, LA. I just got off of Zoom. So yeah, I'm fine. Please don't worry about me. But
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you can get up tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and play tennis, that's all that matters.
Actually, I'm glad you reminded me because I need to confirm that I am actually playing tomorrow with my buddy.
Okay, so back to your typical day. So like on the very first day, it was you hit the ground running, set up all the details, all the stages, the whiteboards, everything for us. And
then actually then going over with like how everything is presented so like, the intros for the Lido deck party.
Yeah.
The Lido deck party.
You just answered the question. have coming up?
Yes, I can cross that question off the list. Thank you very much.
No. That was I actually say Lido because honestly, I have no skin in the game, so I'm just gonna go with whatever sounds better to me. But anyway, so like going over with like essentially the run of show with Donnie and the guys and saying, hey, okay, we're gonna make the announcement here. We have the selected songs for like this, the intro, and then show them, and then if everyone signs off, then we go with it. If they need to like move stuff around, like maybe we should intro this person first, or XYZ, then basically we make some changes.
XYZ.
XYZ, yeah.
Canadian.
So yeah, anyway, so we would make sure that once those announcements were made and the guys are presented and they're all like in the crowd and the party's going, like that was like my moment of like, okay, I'm chilling out, loosening the tie and just like relaxing. So as soon as that happened, it was basically I could start having fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when you could finally let it down, like what was your fun? Were you out there with all of us? Were you up on, in VIP? Like, what gave you the fun experience that we all were having the whole damn time?
Well, I actually liked going onto in front of where like the DJ booth was and sort of like, that meme of that Prince who's like sort of pompously looking down at the general population. Have you guys ever seen that? I kind of felt that way because I was like, oh, like I'm just like looking at all the commoners, but really I was like, man, I really would like to get in there
To be part of it.
I know. In fact, I'll tell you what, like up until maybe a week or two ago when I heard that there was poop in the pool.
Oh God.
I was like, I want to jump off this like ledge to go into the pool, but thank goodness I didn't. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here. Look at the peasants. No, not looking at the peasants. I'm just joking.
So, okay, if you could pass any piece of advice or if you have any request to the cruisers that would make your life or your job a little bit easier on the cruise, what would that be, if there is anything?
You know what? I don't think I really have it really. This is going to sound like too goody two shoes, but honestly, I don't think I have any right to, because you all spend a lot of money, travel really far away, and you are there to have fun. And so if what I suggest infringes on your maximum fun, then what's the point, So
good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like go have as much fun as you want. Are people annoying? Sure, but who cares?
But,
you guys are on vacation.
People are annoying in everyday life, right?
Yeah. Amen.
There you go. Okay, there are a couple of questions that people have submitted. Let me just see. Okay.
I'm gonna let you ask your questions quick, Melanie. I'm gonna go quick say hello to my son who's going to bed. So I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. I'm not sure if you're able to answer this, but do you have a favorite? Okay. Are you a New Kid fan? And if you are, who's your favorite?
Okay, so I don't really want to say I'm a fan, but recently, so when I first got the gig of being the tour photographer back in 2013, I kid you not, I was listening to Step by Step pretty much like nonstop for like 3 or 4 weeks. There's something about that.
So it was like the top of your Spotify wrap-up list. Is that what you're telling me?
If Spotify had a wrap-up list, probably, yeah. It was sort of like eerie because shortly after, I was like, someone had asked me to go on tour with the guys, and I said, of course. But there's like, but even like listening to the live, the recorded songs and then listening to them live and seeing them performed, I'm like, okay, I understand. I mean, I'm a huge fan of bands and who
Yeah.
I've seen, you know, probably more than 100 times,
Mm-hmm.
or close to it. And so, you know, the recorded music is great, but there's a connection that happens when you can see it live, you know? Um, and so, yeah, so I get it. So am I a fan? Not as much as you all, but definitely respect. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, from Marina, what was your favorite costume you saw on the boat, if you have one, if you can remember? Or what was one that stood out?
Well, I actually, I liked your Madonna one and your MIA one. I thought that was
Yes.
like pretty niche.
Thanks. Yeah.
Uh, um, there was a group of uh, people who dressed up as the robot, the the new kids,
Yeah.
the blockhead, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And there was like a ton of them. I actually took I drunkenly took a Polaroid of them that, let's see if I have it on
I know
hand.
some of them are in here because some of them were, I think that there were a few groups that dressed as blockheads.
Yeah, I don't actually, oh, I think I may have it here.
Margaret is saying that she, Laura, and Mandy, I think, were blockheads. Marina was a
they had
blockhead.
like silver helmets. So I actually have,
Look,
I'm happy to pass it
I've got
on
a stack
to
of Polaroids handy as well.
Oh, I mean, actually, these are most of these. If you guys want to see some cool photos that I took, these are actually from the cruise.
Yes, because you know, one of my questions was if you had any juicy tidbits that you could share with us. So if that's your Polaroids, that'd be pretty cool.
I will.
Time.
Okay.
Just in time for the goss. Yeah.
Okay, so this one is of. First of all, if we're gonna have to say who's one of my favorites, I think John is great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all really great.
Right.
But I think I'm gonna pick John because he has the best hair. But this is a picture. This is a picture of John.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's
What a
so
babe.
Babe.
Hey, John.
We love you, John.
Let's see here. Here's a funny one of Jordan. Here, I'll find a good one of Jordan. They're a little dark, but they're pretty dope. Let's see here. There we go.
I know Nikki in here is just dying to see the Jordan picture. Let's see.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Those are your glasses. I recognize those glasses.
Yeah, and now you guys are in the photo with them.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Actually, let me show you one more of him. He really went to town with these glasses.
Love it.
I'm doing it at angles. So there is no glare.
Perfect.
I just watched Zoolander. He's Blue Steel in that one.
Right? But he looks like Mugatu in those glasses. Those are kind of Mugatu glasses.
Yes.
Okay, so do you have any other like juicy tidbits or like gossip that you're allowed to tell us from the cruise?
No, not really. I mean, I feel like I'm the last to know everything, if I'm being honest with you. And I'm not saying that just to skirt the problem, but I mean the question, I should say. But genuinely, I'm sort of like when I'm working, as some people may know and have seen me in crowds while I'm working. It's like I have tunnel vision. I have tunnel vision, and I don't really. I'm just like trying to do my job. But before I finish, before I finish, I'm not saying I need to get off or anything. I'm not saying
because I've got a few more questions, so you're not going anywhere.
No. So when we were doing press for the tour in New York, I was sitting down and Jordan drew me, and I don't know if you can see that.
Oh my
God.
He sketched me. I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
He even got all the stickers on my laptop. Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to make out what was that underneath you. Okay, that's your laptop and all the stickers. Okay.
Yeah.
Raw. That was very like you could get your face in the sketch.
Yeah. He's good. I mean, I have friends. Who are. I have a lot of friends who are very talented, and I feel like if they're good at one discipline, I think they can transfer that into other things, even though like they may not be the best at drawing, but I think if they really do put their some effort into it, they will eventually get better.
Right.
That's just me.
That's so
A
cool.
question
I think
from, oh, Amber, sorry, I just put it on screen. If I could just ask quickly from Amber, what other artists have you toured with?
Um, a band that I love and have become really good friends of mine, 311.
Yep.
Um,
Are you going to go on
uh,
their cruise or not?
no, I actually was talking to one of them today, and you know, he loves it because he gets to connect with his fans, but he's like, it's intense, and so they
Yeah.
don't really get to relax a lot,
Okay.
and so I think that so it's this is their cruise is different than the New Kids cruise because the New Kids cruise is just New Kids on the Block.
Right.
mhm.
With the 311 with the 311 cruise, uh, it's basically like a festival on the water,
I see.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
so like I think I may have seen like the lineup and I wasn't like, crazy about it, but I'm sure I would have had fun regardless. So but so worked with 311, worked with Fifth Harmony, worked with Ricky Martin, worked with a few like other like Latin acts that many people may not know. Someone who does what's their name? His name is Residente, who he's like a Puerto Rican rapper. He used to be part of a group called Calle 13, and then another person, I'm sorry, and another artist named Mon Laferte. But then I really have just toured with a lot of friends' bands, and like we've opened up for, I mean, I say we, but like my friends' bands, The Moth and the Flame, we did like 2 months in Europe with Imagine Dragons, and
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I just been really lucky because a lot of the connections and gigs that I've gotten were always through friends of mine and stuff. So yeah,
So if
yeah.
somebody is interested in doing a job like yours, whether, working for a band, like management, like leading creative services, or being a photographer, do you have any tips or
Uh,
advice? Like, where should they get started? What should they do?
I mean, this is one thing that I wish I had done in college is just internships, right?
Mm,
It's really going through internships. And then, I mean, I know a lot of people say like the first 2 years, at least here in America, the first 2 years are your general ed, and then you go into your specialization like 2 years afterwards on your third year. I would say that if you can transfer into schools that are um, sort of known for their entertainment industry like programs. Like I believe USC. I know it's very expensive to go to USC. I think it's up to like 60,000 or maybe 80,000 a year,
mm.
but they have like a it's basically like a pipeline into the entertainment industry. So if you go there, make sure you do a lot of internships and just like really there's just so many different opportunities to work, especially now when before like there were like um major labels and then like Live
Mhm.
Nation or AEG, but now there's so with like technology and Spotify and like TikTok, Instagram, there's so many different like avenues to get into the industry when before there was like very little. So now there's just a lot of different ways to get in the industry. And really what it is just it's just hearing a bunch of no's until you get a yes. So I would say get a thick skin and just do
Mm.
internships and just keep on asking for jobs. So yeah,
And it sounds like networking and connections and uh,
Mhm.
friendships also help.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think in my experience, like knowing people who have worked for, big talent or whatever, too, I think, and you seem to exude this to a pretty high degree. So I'm sorry if I'm putting this on you, but there's a level of just being like open to opportunity and just saying yes. And, do you think that's a little bit true that you have to be in the right place at the right time? You have to have the education, you have to work your ass off, but you also have to be willing to maybe at points in your life do the things that maybe you thought you weren't going to be willing to do to get that next opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it really is I think it's you can't have an ego. I think that's basically what it
Totally.
is, you know. So it's sort of good to be not have an ego and not make sure that nothing is above you. Of course, there are like, you know, boundaries and whatnot. And so if you set those to you for yourself and you feel like what you're doing isn't disrespecting yourself or like your, you know, what you hold to be true, then
Mhm.
just go ahead and do it because eventually I remember one of the first internships I got, I worked for, I don't know if you all know this festival, but it's defunct now, but it's called Rock the Bells. It
Yep.
was like, so Rock the Bells used to be this big hip hop fest. And one of the first things I had to do for this company was basically pass out flyers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck this, right? But then, but then I was just, but like within like a day or two, I'm like, no, I mean, I really need to show these guys that I'm, you know, that I can do this. And, you know, after a while, I didn't have to do it as much. So, uh, I didn't have to, I didn't have to do it. So I felt like they were kind of like hazing me in a way. And they saw like, oh, if this guy's willing to do the work, then maybe he can, we can give him more responsibility. So yeah.
Cool.
Oh, Meg's, sorry, I just accidentally pinned Meg's comment. Yes, they're doing a cruise next year. I don't know. I was going to ask, who do you mean? Are you talking about Rock the Bells, Megs? Are they doing a cruise?
No, 311.
Yes, 311 is doing a cruise. I
Okay.
know and it falls during March 11th because a friend of mine, Jackie, who came on the New Kids cruise, she and her husband are going on the 311 cruise.
Oh, that's crazy. I actually, oh, the reason why I can't go is because my friend's getting married. So,
Oh,
so yeah. But you know what? Can I say something really quick? Sidebar. My friend Sean, who is probably on this, just texted my friends group with saying, "Are you watching Marcelo live on IG? I have never seen him so focused while talking. It's like he's trying not to say something wrong." I love
well,
it. I love it.
not the right people for that because we say things wrong all the time. So
But you know,
It's
you're
all
you're
good.
here in a somewhat professional capacity as well. You know, I appreciate that you have to be
Yeah.
mindful.
I mean, also, you know, I don't know, there's 72 people here. I think the most I've ever had on my own live while I'm just driving around spitting nonsense is like 12. So I appreciate the audience. So I got to make sure I don't make an idiot of myself.
well, we very much appreciate you being here and talking to us because you know we've had some really cool guests and it's just fun to have these conversations and get to know people on a little bit of a deeper level given this stuff. And you're the first member of the I won't say
Team?
staff,
Team?
right? Team, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
sure.
been
Why not?
that's it's very cool to hear a different perspective from just like a fan perspective, especially being not just being on the team but also being your first cruise is it's very cool.
Which I'm
Yeah.
still shocked by. I could have sworn you were on the other cruises that I was on, but if you say so, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has, was equally as shocked, you know? So yeah.
It's hard though after like if you go to multiple tour stops and you see you at the tour stops, it's like mentally you're just like, oh, he's here, he's always there, you know. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where part of it's coming in. Amber just said, wait, what?
This was his first cruise, Amber. We asked him
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
beginning and we were all shook by his response. Can I ask one more question? What's your dream theme night?
I was thinking about this, and I mean, I know they need to be really succinct, but like maybe
It's all good.
Yep.
like everyone dress up as like a famous artist, music artist. Like
Okay.
I don't know what it would be, but like it can't be New Kids though. So
Okay,
everyone's
so
got to
that's the
like,
opposite to one of the suggestions last week that Donnie really got behind was we were talking about Night of a Thousand New Kids where we all dressed as the New Kids. So you're suggesting like the complete opposite, dress as an artist, but New Kids
yeah.
are not allowed.
I feel like it'd be too much like being John Malkovich if it was like everyone dressed up like the New Kids, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It would just be like a sea of New Kids, a sea of rat tails. I don't know.
Yeah. I do have
Oh, and somebody asked, how are you coping, I guess, that Mexico lost today? Did they? Are you
Yeah,
doing
I mean,
okay?
it's, I mean, I may not be the best. I mean, I am of Mexican heritage, and I hold that very dear to my heart. But I think a long time ago, I made a decision to just. Uh, I mean, unfortunately, my thinking was very binary back then. So I chose the U.S. men's national team, and so really, whenever those two go together, um, play against each other, I always go for the U.S. But last World Cup, when the U.S. didn't make it, I actually went. I was a Mexico supporter, so I really don't have any comment on they lost. I'm sorry that they lost, but I mean that's the way the World Cup goes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Ashley, do you have any more? Because I'm out of questions.
No, I appreciate your time, Marcelo. I think this has been great.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
And yeah, if you want to, run along, and we'll bring up the next person again. Thank you so much, and we look
Alrighty, y'all.
forward to seeing you the next
Appreciate it.
tours and cruises and whatever else, wherever else we want to see, and whatever else you come up with us, come up
Awesome.
with us.
It
All
was a
right.
pleasure talking to y'all. See ya.
Yeah. You too. Take
Bye,
care.
guys. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring up our next guest. Let me just double check. All right.
These are too much fun.
I
It's like
know.
insane. We try to keep it, if for everyone watching right now, like we try to keep it to like increments of time. It doesn't work.
And it never works. It never works. Hi.
How's it going? This is my first live ever, so this is kind of
Yeah.
So far, so good.
We like it.
Hi, Jared.
How's it going?
This is like we were just talking about how much fun these lives are. Like Wednesday nights have become like a real highlight of my week.
Yeah, I've joined a few. I was in the week. I was in the live last week with Teresa, and that was pretty fun, pretty cool.
Nice.
It's cool that we are able to kind of highlight different people, or talk to, not highlight because that sounds weird, but like talk to different blockheads that we've either never met or only know through social media, or who have really cool stories. And you have kind of a cool story in that. How many cruises have you been on, sir?
This is my first cruise, but Donnie actually counts the virtual cruise, so technically I have to say two. But this is
If
my
the
first
captain said it, it's true. Yeah.
first time on the boat, though.
But first time on the boat, yeah. Sorry, and where are you? Are you in Houston? Someone commented, a fellow Houstonian. Are you in Houston?
I'm originally from Houston, but I live in San Francisco now. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Well,
thank God, because the weather is so much better.
yeah, it's a little nicer than this time of year. So, Jared, tell us first, what got you to go on the cruise? Because did you go with people or did you go on your own?
I went on my own. So what got, well, first of all, I've always watched the cruise videos. I've been a huge fan since 2008. I used to call myself a baby blockhead because I wasn't there in the 80s. I was born in the 80s. So I
So
wasn't
wait,
there.
maybe you coined the term baby blockhead back in 2008?
No. I
No,
knew,
okay.
well, maybe. But no. So I've been watching every year faithfully. I know, especially from like 2009 to 2014 when I was in college, I used to love watching every single year. Every single year, I would wait until the week after the cruise because that was when everybody would upload their videos. So that would be my favorite time to rush to my computer, watch all the videos, and enjoy all the theme nights. Sometimes I would get dressed up in my house and just put it on the big screen and just have fun and live vicariously. That was so much fun that I've never even imagined like actually being on the boat, because I was like, I like just watching the videos. That's good enough for me. I went on the mixtape tour recently, and I was actually wearing this jacket, and I was in the front row, and like dancing and having a good time, and I get tapped on my shoulder, mid-show, and it was like, "Hey, Donnie and Jordan want to meet you," and from there, I just kind of blacked out. But
that seems like an appropriate response to being told
Yeah.
Donnie and Jordan want to meet you.
that ended up turning into Barstool tickets next night and cruise tickets and Donnie, Donnie being Donnie, and sometimes you get wrapped up in a wave of his generosity. He'll just invite you to stuff, and so that happened, and I was like, well, yeah, I'll be there. I'll do whatever. I'll be there. So I went on a cruise, and it was just such a magical experience.
That's so cool. So, like, what reservations did you have to go for your first cruise, not having other people you're going with? Like, did you have any fears of that? Or, I'll read for the...
I'm gonna be on that boat. I'm gonna be on that boat. I don't care what happens. I don't care if it sinks. If it sinks, we're going down together. Because new kids are gonna be... I was like, he invited me. I am showing up. Come hell or high water. I don't care if I don't have vacation. I don't care if I don't have a job at this time. Like, I was like, I'm gonna be on that boat no matter what.
That's awesome. The commitment is top tier. So while you were on the cruise, was there anything that you thought you would see or would happen that just like didn't happen, or anything that you thought would happen that when it happened you were like, wow, this is better than I thought it would be? This is like next level.
I think all of it was better than I even thought it would be. I was pretty prepared because, like I said, I watched the videos very thoroughly, so I knew kind of what to expect each night. I knew there would be themes. I kind of knew the flow of things, but what I wasn't prepared for is how much of a family it actually feels like. People throw that word around a lot, especially like when you're at work, it's like, hey, we're a work family. Like, no, the hell we're not. No, we're not. But, you even hear that in a lot of fan bases, like, oh, the fan base is like a family. But when I was on the cruise, I actually felt that, and I did not expect that at all. I listened to all the New Kids tips and the New Kids News tips, and I followed a lot of them, and I saw them all work, and I was like, wow. It really felt like I was on a boat with a bunch of family members, a bunch of sisters. I noticed right away that I could talk to anybody, no matter where they were within that trip. I can reach out. If I saw a New Kids shirt, I would run up to people that were in Miami before the cruise, and I'd be like, are you going on the boat? And it's like, yeah, we're going on the boat. And instant friends, at the airport, while we're waiting for the shuttle. It was so many different instances where I could just reach out and talk to somebody. So I may have went alone, but I didn't leave there alone. Like, I never felt alone on the boat. Like, I always felt like I was a friend or somebody that I could talk to.
That's such a good point, because I think even like this whole thing me and Melanie have started, we were both on the cruise. We never met on the cruise. It was after, through social media, that we were like, wow, we connect. There's so many connections that happen. And especially, like you said, like, you get off the airplane and you're like, someone's wearing a New Kids shirt. Like, I'm going to say hello. And that's where it's the whole snowball of these friendships start. So I love that you said that, because that's so very true.
I tell you, it's funny. I tell you, when I got off of the boat, I realized the genius of the New Kids and just how everything goes into this cruise, because it's really a bonding experience. It's like a revival. It's a soul cleansing, but it's we party until like 3 o'clock in the morning and then party some more. Like, what we do on that boat really bonds us for life, to where no matter when you went or who you went with or what happened, like, I can reach out and be like, how long did you stay on the Lido deck? Like, who did you get a selfie with today? Like, did you get your favorite? Like, I can always have that conversation with anyone, and you're like instantly friends for it.
Carla just said, you're never alone on the boat. And I think that's so true. Like, no matter where you go, there's just a friendship, and you're all there for the same reason, right? So it's so cool. Okay. So, Happy. That's Melanie's dog.
Carry on.
Happy. He had to come up and say hello. What a beauty. I love it. Okay. So you mentioned your jacket, Jared, and this is a little bit New Kids not related, but did you recently wear that same jacket to another event? Or was that a different jacket?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
no,
so
it's the same jacket. So this particular jacket was actually custom made, and it actually is kind of New Kids related, because I saw the Balmain jackets, the sequin Balmain jackets that the new kids wore during a couple of their performances, and I really, really wanted one. I thought they were so awesome, but I looked at how much they were, and they were like $2,000, and they were $95. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to wait a little while. So eventually, I found an opportunity to actually have a custom sequin jacket made. So I had one made, and it's part inspired by Michael Jackson, and part
What does
inspired.
it say on the back?
On the back, it says my artist name, which is Madalix, which stands for Me and Dope Instrumentals Living Eternally Here, and the X marks the spot, which is here. And on the back of the jacket is like a lot of my album covers that are on Spotify, Apple Music, and streaming everywhere. So it's kind of like a sneaky way to market my music, but it's also a nice
It's an
jacket.
ingenious way of marketing your music. I like that.
Exactly. And there's actually a barcode on the back of the jacket that you can actually scan, and it'll pull up my music. So it's
Amazing.
really, there's more to the jacket than just the
Has a
pretty.
new kid scanned the barcode?
No, not yet, but
Not yet. Not yet. Okay.
Keep wearing it. Okay, so someone in the comments, Amber, said, "What does the jacket look like?" So quick, share your Instagram handle and also Facebook, because you've shared some really cool videos of an event you were at recently where you wore the jacket, and like, it's your, like, people should pay attention to that, but also like the jacket is giving the attention.
Exactly. So if you actually look on my Instagram, it's Madalix. You know, when people ask, what's your name? It's Madalix. So very easy to find. If you look on my Instagram, there's pictures all over at different award shows. I've been to 3 different award shows this year alone, the Billboard Awards, the AMAs, and just recently the Soul Train Music Awards, and ended up on TV twice. So that's really, really cool. So if you even look up YouTube videos of different performances from those award shows, you'll probably catch me somewhere on camera, because I'm very hard to miss.
Just for folks, if you go to the top left corner of the screen, there's a drop-down menu, and if you hit that, you'll see the handles of all of us in the chat, including Jared's, and you can follow him right away. Okay.
Okay, so my next question is, being an artist and going on a cruise like this and having that kind of experience, how did that inspire you musically?
Oh man, have you heard of that song, This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine? Are you familiar with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
like, definitely going into the cruise, I knew for sure, like, my light was gone. It was snuffed out. Life had done so much that it's just like, I definitely didn't smile as much as I am now. After the cruise, it like just completely rejuvenated my spirit. It turned that light back on, the way I've been able to just show up in the world and just shine, it's just so changed. And seeing the work ethic, not only seeing the human being that like Donnie is, but seeing the work ethic, staying up until like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, like putting me to shame. Like, I'm almost half his age, and I was like, I'm crapping out at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's like still on the Lido deck partying away. So just seeing that, it was just like, oh my gosh, like I got some work to do if I wanna do this as well. That's a lot of competition, but you really get to feel how iconic and how legendary that they all are, and it's crazily overwhelming just to witness that up front, because none of them act like that, but it's like it's never lost on me. Like, even when Donnie is so personable, but I'm just sitting there like, you're a fucking legend. I'm trying to just not scream in his face, but yeah, it's really overwhelming.
Well, a lot of people are speaking praise of you in the chat. Like, you met a lot of people clearly on the boat, and touched a lot of people, and you have a lot of new fans.
And actually, I want to shout out, because I was inspired by Yikes. So a lot of people actually know Yikes, and it was, she's a big part of my journey. So I may have not have gotten to meet her, but I watched a lot of her content, and like, she was a part of my every year. I would subscribe, and I would always be super excited to see those videos. She was one of the blockheads that will post the longest videos. So sometimes her videos will have like 5 parts. They'll be 17 minutes each. So like, she was a go-to for me. And when I got on the boat, you know, I just felt that spirit in me, and I just wanted to be that for somebody else. What she was for me, I wanted to be that for other people. So that's what made me so dedicated to take different pictures and show a different perspective, because I think even I had my own premonition or my own thoughts of what it would be like on the boat. And I think like a lot of people who may, you know, suffer from anxiety or don't want to be around a lot of people in the pandemic, it was just like, oh gosh, what is that going to be like? This, it's so crowded. It's so many people on that boat. It's like, you know, I don't know if I want to be around all that rabidness, but like when you get on that boat, oh my gosh, it is not like that at all. You feel the release immediately. You feel the tension, and then the pain just leave your body, you know. And like I remember stepping on the ship and just hearing Donnie words, and you earned this shit, you deserve this shit. I just heard that in my head, and I let out the biggest smile stepping onto the boat, and I just knew that the next 4 days were all going to be legendary. They were all going to be iconic, and just feeling that it changes you immediately.
Awesome. Melanie, you have a couple really good questions that we haven't asked yet.
Well, you know, they're my usual questions. Like, okay, you know, I love to ask about theme nights.
Yes.
Clearly, you know, you have a sense for fashion with that jacket. What's a theme night, or what's an outfit that you would like to wear, or like all of us to wear?
So what I commented on the last stream, and then, you know, everybody else was also in agreement. I wanted a new kids night as well. I want to dress up as one of the new kids, but my caveat is I want them all to take the different stages, and then everybody who's dressed up as a certain new kids gets on that stage with them. So got to get on the stage with Donnie. All the Joes got to get on stage with the Joes, and we just dance the night away as our favorite new kids. With them.
I like that. But listen, if you're willing to organize everybody and move people around, go for it. But I think the end product would be pretty trippy.
This theme night for 80s night, I went as Jordan, and a lot of people didn't get it. I had the Batman shirt and a little hat on, and like people didn't really get it. I was like, do you get it? Do you know who I am? They were like, no. I was like, I'm Jordan. So, you know, I was a little disappointed, but I think they would get it if I wore that on a new kids night and I got to stand on stage with Jordan with a bunch of other iterations of Jordan. I think that would be funny.
That would be funny.
I think they would too.
So, okay, now that you've been on the cruise, you know, you came home to family, friends, whatever, how do you describe the cruise to them?
How would I describe the cruise? It's a magical experience. Like, I feel like you get the full experience if you're actually a fan. If you're actually a fan, it's gonna be a pure, beautiful experience from the moment that you get on the boat. Because not only are you feeling that, like, I'm gonna have close proximity with these people that I love, but the fandomship around it is so beautiful. It's so bonded. It's such a family type of feeling that, like, you can get on the boat with a bunch of strangers and end up with family, end up with friends, people that you end up bonding with and taking that relationship off of the boat. Like I said, and it's also a cleanse, you know, staying up, you know, passion on the bed. I would get on the boat and I would be so tired by like 11 o'clock, because like my rhythms are all still the same. So I was like, oh gosh, I gotta stay up longer. I gotta be up until 3 o'clock in the morning just doing that. It, like I said, it all changes you, and it's more than a concert. It's more than a cruise. It's more. It's everything that. It's everything.
That's such a great way to put it. It's a experience that's hard to describe to people who or people who maybe have had like really cool experiences in their life to, you know, put out there. Like, I'm on a boat with 3,000 amazing people, and maybe not everyone is someone I want to be friends with or could be friends with, but like there's a really solid chunk. If I'm on the beach, if I'm in the water, if I'm at the pool, if I'm at the bar, if I'm at the buffet, I'm going to meet someone who, if I'm open to it, could change my life, like could be my next best friend. And that's just so cool.
Is there anything that you wish you could redo, or like an opportunity that you wish on the boat you would have taken taken advantage of, that you were like,
yes,
dang.
actually. So okay, so with all my preparedness, you know, a lot of people were like, okay, you're not going to get any sleep. And, you know, and I had that in mind. But if I could do anything over again, I think I would take my days a lot easier and I would rest a lot more. That way I could be up all night and all night. Because now I know that, yeah, Donnie is crazy and he's going to keep you until 6 o'clock in the morning. Like I had no idea. You know, and YouTube did not prepare me for that because some of the, you know, videos are 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes if you're lucky. So you don't get to see the fact that this party is like 4 or 5 hours long into the night. So knowing that now, I would prepare myself differently and I would rest. I would take it easier in the day, and that way I can be up all night for the party because that's where it's at. That's where you get really get cleansed. It's like Burning Man.
You have to prep. Like, you have to drink your water, sleep, maybe work out a little bit. Like, you have to prep for it because it's going to be, it's more than you expect for sure. Carla just said you have to have a plan. Yeah, you have to have a plan.
I got a plan now.
So it sounds like you're going to go on the next cruise.
I need to. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. I thought about all the pictures that I posted, comments that I was getting that was like, oh my gosh, you've inspired me to go now. Like, okay, now I got to get on it. But I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. I'm gonna have trouble getting tickets now because of all the new kid fans that I've inspired to actually get on the boat. So I was like, okay, if I have to go to Miami and be a stowaway and somebody put me in their luggage, I'm gonna lose a little weight and somebody's gonna put me in their luggage so I can stow away. You know, I'm getting on that boat. Some type of way.
Honestly, though, you've inspired a lot of people because you've shared some really amazing photos and a lot of videos. And so, like, coming off the boat, you showed people what an incredible time it is. So I can see that.
Just because I like I said, even like me, I knew what I thought about the boat going in, but leaving the boat, it was like, it's something different. And I was like, this is not something you can see on YouTube. You don't see this perspective often. You don't get to see the rest of the angles of the boat. You don't get to see what happens when the party's over. You don't get to see, you know, what between the A and B groups look like. Like, I wanted to share that, and I think it was very helpful for people to get that additional view.
I agree.
So in the chat, Melissa's asked a question about the rooms. And now that you've been on one cruise, sometimes people can get really hung up on their room type, where it is, the size, location, all of that. As someone who's now been on the cruise, do you think that's really important?
If you're in your room, you're doing it wrong. If you're wrong, you're doing it wrong. So
nice.
Forget the room. The room is just a placeholder for you to like keep your stuff for a little while you're in between parties.
And a place to shower.
Yeah, like I barely saw my room, but it was my first cruise, so I wanted to see everything. I wanted to kind of experience everything. So, you know, maybe after 3 or 4 cruises, you're like, okay, I'll go. Like a lot of people would skip certain things and just chill out, but like, no, the room is not that important. You might want to take something for the motion sickness because that is something to get used to, and if you've never experienced that, and I've heard how serious it can get. Like people will have lasting effects for months, so that can get serious. But for the most part, when you're dancing and you're having fun, you barely feel the boat moving. So I wouldn't matter about the room. But I also took a poll like on Facebook, and a lot of people, some people had rooms were like super cold, and some people's rooms were super hot. So it could matter, you know, where you land. But like I said, you're not spending much time in that room, and you're not getting much sleep at all.
Right. Right.
Worth mentioning that, like, if you have any like claustrophobia, it's nice to have a window or a balcony so you can like look out on the ocean. But realistically, I mean, if that's not something that's a problem for you, it's fine. Like literally, like you're saying, your room is hot or it's cold. I bought like little mini fans that I plugged into my phone to like keep me cool because I was in the top our 4-person room. But that was.
And don't forget all the people that are camping out there, just sitting there for 8 hours. Don't forget about them.
Yeah, no, not me. But it's, you know, like that's a good point though. People make the cruise what they want it to be. Like if you want it to be a party, you have a party. If you want it to be something where you sit around all day in the sun waiting for the best spot for the deck, you know, for the Lido party, that's what it is. Like you just have to make it what you're there to do. If you're there to be with your friends, you make it to be with your friends, right? So, or to meet friends, like you said.
I say if you go into it with no expectations, you come out of it with so much more fun. I realized, like, of course, I went into it like, okay, I want a good spot and I want to be right in front so I can get good footage. But I remember every single night, I was like, I want a good spot, but like, oh my gosh, that's so many people. Like, I don't feel like waiting. Like, I want to wait until they've been late a few times. I'm gonna wait until they actually come out. Like, I will watch them on the actual TV in my cabin.
Right.
Sometimes I was like, okay, I'll wait until they come out till I actually go out, and I'll just stand wherever. But it changes. It changes like what you want to do. Like, you get if you have no expectations. There's been a few times where I just happened to run into a Danny or happened to run into Donnie in the hallway without even trying. We just ended up next to each other, and it's like that happens if you let it. But if you're trying to force something, I think you're gonna have a bad time.
And I think with this cruise, the guys definitely moved around a lot more on the Lido deck. So they created more opportunities for people to have interactions with them on the boat, like during the Lido deck party. Just thinking, like in years past, they've always come out from behind the DJ. But there was one night this cruise where they came out from the other entrance, from the other end, right? So I think that's something that they're being a little bit more mindful of, to again move around some more and create opportunities for other people to meet them and to have interactions and get selfies.
I feel like it's easy to strategize, but like Donnie's the easiest. Donnie's gonna make sure you get a photo. So that's what I love about him. He's like, everybody's gonna get a photo, so calm down, and I'll see you. So I love that. I think. Do you guys have a preference? Is there anybody that you haven't got that you wish you had or couldn't get, or that was hard to get for you?
Sorry, like a selfie?
Like a picture or anything like that? Yeah.
That's hard to say because like I've been to like, especially this year, I had 3 meet and greets, and like it's a long story, but Danny's my guy. I have plenty of selfies with Danny. I said to him at one point, like, there's other people here who have never had a selfie with you, so please go get your selfie with them. Like, I want a selfie, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of people like who have never been on a cruise or never had a meet and greet or like have paid a lot of money to be there. Like, go, not, oh God, that sounds terrible. It sounds like I'm saying like, no, don't take a picture with me. Go take a picture.
I'm going to sacrifice my picture.
Oh,
yeah.
No. But the point is that, the one person I wish I had a selfie with was John.
I've never
John.
Yeah, I don't have one yet.
And I'm a real estate agent. I love his show, Farmhouse Fixer. I have talked to him in certain respects about it, but I'm just like, I really want to be like John. We get each other. I won't, but anyway, that's my one. That is probably my one. I would love to have a real conversation with him.
So it's funny because he was on my list too. So I went into the cruise. I was like, okay, I've had an interaction with Donnie. I've had interactions with Danny. I got a selfie with Joe on the mixtape. So I was like, okay, I got 2 more left. I need Jordan and I need John. And I was able to get John when I got pulled up on stage on the first night. So that's my legendary moment on the cruise. I got pulled up on stage on the first night. Was not expecting it, but I was standing there just like, oh gosh, I'm here now. Let's get it. But so I was able to get 3 selfies that night. But Jordan awaits. Jordan awaits.
See, I was yeah, I don't have my John selfie. I think I might have like a really crappy one that will like never see the light of day from like the last cruise. I got one with Joe finally, but I'm not really happy with it because like they were I mentioned this in our first live, but like I realized a few days into the cruise that they walked past our room on the way to the theater. And one day, I was in my room minding my own business, kind of getting ready. And then I heard some voices outside and like I was like, oh my God, that's Donnie. I swung open the door and like Donnie was walking by. And then I went back into my room. Oh, and I had eye patches on as well at the time. And then I went back into my room again, started minding my own business. And then I heard voices again outside and I opened the door and John and Joe and some of their team were there and they were looking at some posters. So I'm like standing there like, and again, I've got the eye patches on. So I felt like a bit of a dink, but you know, that was kind of my legendary moment. Like I just, got to meet a few of the new kids with the under eye patches on.
You have a memory, and you're always gonna have a story now. It's legendary.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so good.
I'm plumb out of questions. Let me just take a look in the chat. Okay. Oh, this one might be obvious. Who's your favorite new kid? That's for you, Jared. Who's your favorite new kid?
Oh, Donnie took it. Like if he wasn't before, like he definitely took the cake for the cruise. I feel like every single night he like outdid himself on his generosity, and it's been mentioned of Donnie before, but the crazy thing about him is that makes me even respect him even more is that no matter how many people in the room, whether it's hundreds or thousands, like he has a way of making you feel seen and special, and like you're the only one like in the room for the thousands. It's crazy. Yeah.
That's very true. It's very true. Like I'm a Danny girl, and I will stand for Danny all day. But there's something about Donnie that's like he's joined us twice on here, and both times were really not expected and very appreciated, and felt like he felt I don't know how to describe it. Melanie, how would you describe it? Like I don't think all to join us, but it felt very natural.
It did, because you know what, he's come like, joined us on screen a couple of times. The other times he's just hung out in the chat, and it just feels like another blockhead just hanging out, like answering questions, chatting with people. He just feels I don't want to say he feels like family, but he feels like just a friend, right? And
yeah,
it's a little surreal. Like I'm still wrapping my head around it.
He makes himself so available, especially he gives whatever he can, whenever he can, and you feel that immediately.
Yeah.
How he finds the time and the mental capacity to do that is beyond me. But that's why we love him, and that's what makes him so special.
Mm-hmm. But also, I think it speaks to us as fans that we're willing.
Ooh, you're dropping out a little bit. Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Speaks to us as fans. I mean, it's great. I mean,
Sorry, can you say that one more time? It speaks to us as fans.
That he's willing to take his very important time to spend with us, because he knows what we give up for them, and he reciprocates that by being appreciative of the money, the time, the effort, the love, and that's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah, and that was one thing that, above anything, above just being a fan of the music, above just being a fan of the guys, it was just like, when you go to their show, they're gonna give you your money's worth, no matter how much you pay, no matter where you sit. I've been going to his shows for a few years, and it's like, even if I'm in the nosebleed, somehow, even like for tonight, they'll end up in my section. They'll end up in the back of the crowd. They'll end up somewhere.
And he definitely waved at you, right? No matter where you're sitting, he definitely saw me, right?
Exactly. And he remembers, like, especially with Donnie, like he will remember you, and that's the craziest thing when he's like, you. I was like, I feel so seen. So yeah.
Me?
I mean, a sequence jacket helps.
I know, right?
A sequence jacket with a barcode and album covers helps. I'm sure people are taking notes in the chat. You're going to see a couple more of these like replicas next tour.
Right. Everybody's going to have sequence in the front row trying to be spotted.
Right, exactly.
Okay, real quick though. Okay, so Jared, you're joining us. Tell us what's one thing you want everyone in the chat to know about you and about you being a fan of this group.
Oh man, I would say I spent a lot of time, in isolation, during the pandemic. I lost family members. I lost like a lot of friends. I would say, being a blockhead, it's really, changed my life. And I know once I got on the boat, I feel like my fandom ship, it elevated into something different, into something higher. And I really felt like I found my community. I felt like I found my people. Like, this is the love that I received in just posting my updates, you know, being able to take so many different blockheads with me on the cruise as I cruised for the first time. Like, I you know, whether I went on that cruise alone, like I didn't end up alone, and I had all of those people with me the entire time. And it you know, it was an overwhelming experience just to, you know, have that, you know, contact and communication with the blockhead. So I love it. And it's inspired new music. So, you know, I'm a musician. You know, I do music. So you know, I'm creating now. I like the album that I created going into the cruise is very dark. It's kind of down. There's some depressing songs on there, some very Linkin Park-ish, you know, very angsty songs, you know, getting a lot of aggression out. But, you know, coming out of the cruise, I'm in a dancey mood. I'm in a fun, jovial mood. So now the music is reflecting that. I'm working on a new song called Room to Dance, which was actually inspired by the cruise because, like, you don't have any room to dance. And it's like, I want to get down. I want to have a good time. I want to have fun. But, hey, I'm going to
From
need
what I learned,
room.
I did a lot of arm dancing.
Yes.
Right?
That's where the room is, in the air.
I would try to find a spot in the back somewhere where I would have a little bit of space. But yeah, I will be planning a little more strategic next cruise. But yeah, you know, you can find me on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, whatever you have. Just type in Madalix. I'm pretty easy to find.
Now, are you gonna, you know, add to your Instagram? Because I think when I took a peek, it sounds like it's still growing. It sounds like your social media platform of choice is Facebook, but we got to get you
Yeah.
over
Yes.
here on Instagram. Okay, good.
For a long time, you know, I kind of just swore off social media. Wasn't very social. Like I did through a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Getting back on social media. I'm starting to post more. I'm starting to put myself out there more.
Good.
I'm on Facebook, but I'm also on Instagram. A lot of the fun stuff will be on Instagram, but it all comes to my phone, so you can ping me.
And when you're ready for TikTok, Ashley and I are over there as well. That's I was just
going to say that. Yeah. I was going to say, please, when you're ready to do that, message both of us, and we'll have to use your sound for a like TikTok situation.
I'm on TikTok as well. My sound, if you type it, you'll find a lot of my sounds already live. But I am on TikTok as well. I just don't post. I'm more of a watcher than a poster.
Okay, yeah. I feel like that's part of the TikTok experience is you got to watch for a long time before you start posting.
Yep.
Exactly. And for me, it's been about 2 years now, but
okay. You know, slow and steady. You'll get there.
Slow and steady wins the race. Amen.
There were conversations where Donnie called Melanie and I TikTokers on Instagram. So we'll go find you on TikTok and we'll try to use some of your sounds. Yeah, and anyone watching, like, go find him on TikTok, Instagram, go follow okay, you spell it because I'm going to spell it wrong. At MADELIX.
MADILEX. MADLEX.
And I'm gonna post this live after we wrap up, and I will tag Jared and everyone else who's been in our chat. Again, you can also there's a drop down menu in the top left corner of your screen, and you will see Jared's handle there, and you can follow him right away.
Nice.
And you're fun to follow, so it's worth everyone following.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I see a lot of joyful, a lot of smiles, a lot of beautiful smiling on your Instagram. So you're a definite instant follow for sure.
And that's all kind of recent joy as well. You know, I feel like it was something that Donnie did. It kind of just sparked this whole thing. Like, I wasn't smiling that often before, and it's like I've even seen a new smile in myself, and it just, you know, I've been touched by his spirit, and it really changed me, and it wants me to shine and just beam and be happy. Like, life is so depressing. There's so many things in the world that I just want to smile and be happy, and
Well, you'll have to keep us posted on when this music that's been inspired by the cruise comes out.
Yes, it's very fun and danceable, kind of like Live It Up. That Live It, very in that vein. It's gonna make you dance. It's a great group, and I'm mixing it right now, so it'll be out probably in a week or so, as soon as I can get it up.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome. I'm so appreciative. Well, we are so appreciative that you joined us tonight, Jared. And it's been a fun night. Cool introductions to people who like everyone should follow. So I thank you for being here.
Yeah, everybody that you interviewed is just so fun and so interesting, and it's just like all the coolest blockheads like in one place, and it's like being able to have that experience again, having any kind of, because I mentioned this in the last post. I was like, we need more events like this just for blockheads, just for us to get together, because what we do outside of the guys is so magical and just beautiful alone, that it's like, I mean, just lives like this, it's so organic, and it's so cherished, and it's so valued that we all just naturally end up here wanting to talk about these things, wanting to spend time together. So I'm very appreciative of that you guys have this, and all the other blockheads that go live for us to have events and give us chances to come together and be together. It's amazing.
Totally.
Thank you.
Yes, I love it.
Wow. Well, I don't. Is this a good place for us to kind of wrap up? As usual, we've got a lot longer. Like, these conversations have been so fun and interesting that we went over how we have, like, the allotted time that we had planned for. But thank you to everyone in the chat for sticking around. And Jared,
Very
thank you.
very
Sorry.
I said very cruise-esque. Just go
Yes,
over.
very cruise-esque. Yeah, typical cruise
Especially
behavior.
I'm so tired and I want to go to bed, but the energy's so good. I just can't do it. Like, I have to stay here.
Well, you know what? We have next week to plan for. I think, we say this at the end of the week, and we say this at the end of every live, but are we going to do this again next week? I think so. So everyone, please, if you aren't following Ashley and me, please follow along, and then we will keep you posted on our next live and who our guests are going to be and when it's going to be and what time. And we look forward to coming up with another fun lineup for you.
Yes. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Jared. And thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you, Megs, for holding down the moderation in the chat, too. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Thanks.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
We'll see you next week. Bye.